Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable the examiner of this research thesis defense hearing, and all of my advisor, Mr. Fauzi, Miftakh, and Ms. Yuna Tresna Wahyuna. And I am Iman Nugroho, would like to conduct a research presentation entitled Exploring Student Speaking Anxiety in an Online EFL Classroom. Here is the brief of biodata of the researcher. My name is Iman Nugroho. I was born in Banyumas and I'm now living in Banyumas. The first section of this presentation I would like to deliver is the background of the study. Due to the pandemic COVID-19, the learning setting has changed from the face-to-face to the online learning environment to prevent the further spread of infection. This change mostly affected the state of psychological, specifically in anxiety issues. And as a specific anxiety called foreign language anxiety appears as anxiety affiliates with foreign language learning. Moreover, the source of FLA can develop or even change into new version of them in online learning setting. However, despite a lot of prior research in exploring foreign language anxiety have resulted fruitful findings, most of them were focus on traditional classroom settings. The next section is the theoretical theories. The first theory is the concept of foreign language anxiety, which conceived by Horwitz and Cobb in 1986 as a distinct complex of self-perception, beliefs, feelings, and behavior related to classroom language learning from the uniqueness of the language learning process, or can be simply described as a feeling of pressure towards the threatening situation that appears in language learning. And the second is factors of foreign language anxiety by Horwitz. Is communication apprehension, or anxious about communicating with people. Test anxiety, which is fear of failing to perform. And the last one is fear of negative evaluation, which is expectation to be evaluated negatively by the others. And the next theory is about the strategies of dealing with speaking anxiety. The first one is preparation, relaxation, positive thinking, peer seeking, resignation. And the next theory is about online learning as anxiety creator or healer. According to Pichette, 2009, students tend to choose online learning because it provides anonymity so they don't have to interact with their peers. Meanwhile, Kaiser and Cowdery 2020 mentioned that anonymity decreased opportunity for interaction and made the class uncomfortable and arise the student anxiety. Previous research. The first previous research is done by Grant Huang and Pasfield Novitu in 2013, which find that in both face-to-face and virtual learning, there were multiple factors of FLA, and these factors were similar to virtual and face-to-face learning. The second one done by Kaiser on Calduri, which is contrast with the first previous research. Kaiser and Calduri found that online learning has its own version of factors of FLA. The last one is uh, conduct, research conducted by Yania Fari and Rihardini in 2021, which find that the averagely online speaking students have less anxiety compared with face-to-face setting. And the research gap, despite a lot of prior research in exploring foreign language anxiety have resulted fruitful finding, most of them will focus on traditional classroom setting. Therefore, for the necessity of further investigation on the case of online learning setting, the researcher is passionate about to analyze the factors of anxious and also personal strategies of 5 different level anxiety student to cope with anxiety in online EFL classroom. And the research question, the first one is, what sort of anxiety factors do students encounter on speaking in online EFL classroom, and what strategies do students use to deal with foreign language speaking anxiety in online EFL classroom? Research design. This research is a case study. Because case study is best suited with this research, as rich data can be collected by this design. And the subject and the setting. The subject is 30 students, but they are eliminated to find the 5 representative of 5 anxiety level, and the research was carried out in SMK Negeri 1 Banyumas in the first semester of academic year of 2020-2022, started on July 14th. The instrument of collecting data, the first one is foreign language classroom anxiety, second one in-depth interview, and the last one is reflective journal. The analysis of the data, adapting Brown and Clarke thematic analysis with one additional step. Step 1 is familiar with the data, generating initial code, searching for terms, and then they mentioned additional step, which is classify the themes to the emerging themes, and review the themes, and then define and name the themes, and then produce a report. Finding and discussion. The first finding is about 5 representative of anxiety level. There are Konika, Diva, Rina, and Intan, and Dwi. And the second finding is about the factors in online learning. Factors of anxiety in online learning, which is divided into 2 emerging themes, which is intralingual and interlingual factors. The first member of intralingual factors is communication apprehension. Insufficient knowledge of proper grammar and vocabulary mastery were the frequently mentioned reason of communication apprehension, since these were basic knowledge to describe thought in order to make one's understand the meaning that student tried to deliver. The source of communication apprehension in the term of intralingual were lack of vocabulary, lack of proper grammar, unfamiliar pronunciation, inappropriate pronunciation, misinterpreting thought, and the last one is lack of IT mastery. The second member of interlingual is test anxiety. This factor was undertaken by mildly anxious and very anxious students. From the interview data that have been categorized, the interlingual issues that were encountered by the students, such as rarely practice inappropriate pronunciation and lack of preparation. And the third member of, the second emerging themes of factor is interlingual factors. The first member of interlingual factor is students is communication apprehension as well, which is found in both intralingual and interlingual. Students ranging from very relaxed until very anxious had communication apprehension in the term of interlingual. In online learning setting, communication apprehension developed to some new kind of triggers. The source of communication apprehension in the term of interlingual is teacher-teaching habit, bad internet connection, being monitored online, error device, limited internet balance. And the next member of interlingual is fear of negative evaluation. Appear to be triggered for 4 out of 5 students based on their interview results, starting from relaxed level, mildly anxious, anxious level, and very anxious level. The source of negative evaluation were fear of being left, fear of being scolded, and shy personality. And the next part of finding that I would be delivered is about the strategies, and also the strategies is also divided into two emerging themes, which is internal support and external support. The part of internal support is introduced by relaxation. 4 out of 5 students mentioned in their interview that relaxation helped them in reducing anxiety. There are many efforts to do relaxation, which is deep breath, managing respiration, self-comforting, stay hydrated, and remain calm. And the next member of internal support is positive thinking. In this positive thinking, that the only effort to do positive thinking was praying. And then the member of internal support is preparation. 3 out of 5 students choose preparation as their strategy to defend themselves from speaking anxiety in threatening situations in class. This is the efforts that students do to uh, do preparation. First one is memorizing, enriching vocabulary, practice harder, prepare for materials, and improving confidence. And the next emerging types of strategies is the external support. The first member of this emerging types is peer seeking. One student preferred to do peer seeking during activity, which is specifically looking for helps from other students that have a better understanding of the teacher explanation. And the next member of external supports is relaxation, which is also found in the internal support. So in this external support, relaxation, sorry. So in this external support relaxation, the direction of relaxation based on the one student is the teacher attitude during evaluative situation, in which this attitude is specifically uh, the the patience and teacher tolerance toward the minor mistakes that student did during the oral performance. And the last member of external support is resignation. Students prefer to have online classes rather than offline one, since she could be hiding in anonymity by turning off the camera. And the conclusion. Therefore, based on the findings and discussion, it can be inferred that there is no new categorical strategy, since all of the factors and coping strategies found in both interview and reflective journals can be classified to the existing categorical factors adapted from Howitz and Kopp, and existing categorical strategies adopted from Kondo and Yingling. In specific, based on the source, categorical factors that appear as interlingual factors are communication apprehension and test anxiety, while interlingual factors are communication apprehension and fear of negative evaluation. Moreover, the internal strategy of consisted of relaxation, preparation, positive thinking, while the external one is consisted of relaxation, resignation, and peer seeking. Furthermore, the categorical factors that produce new manifestation due to the shifting of learning setting happen only in communication apprehension category. Meanwhile, the upgrade of strategy due to learning setting shifting was only happen in resignation categorical strategy. The recommendation for the students are expected to maximize the use of online technological supports to overcome more various sources of anxiety in speaking, and teachers are expected to evaluate their teaching habits, and the researcher is expected to conduct research on speaking anxiety in more intensive topics. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.